What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again for another Tottenham update, following on from all the news that we heard from yesterday. I'm joined by Brian Daigle, yet again filling in for my brother Ben. How are we doing, Brian? Are you good?
We are doing good, but it's always a pleasure to be here with you guys. So another day, another update.
Exactly. So we'll first start with the obvious, the big news that's been going on the last couple of days of Yves Bissouma. So Fabrizio Romano tweeting this morning saying Tottenham will proceed in talks of Yves Bissouma and his agents in the coming hours in order to complete the final details of his move from Spurs to Brighton. Tottenham have an agreement in place on the fee. It's a matter of the final steps on the player side. And Simon Stone from BBC says, told Yves Bissouma could net Brighton over £30 million if all the add-ons are triggered. Even if it is slightly over 30 million, that's still, I mean, I'm guessing the add-ons are probably like appearances, Champions League football, all these kind of things. So it'll probably be worth the clauses. But look, the deal seems to be getting to its final stages. Obviously, reports of a medical tomorrow. So time to get excited.
Very excited, very excited. I think you're right, Simeon. These ones are now, most deals have got those performance bonuses, haven't they, related to just up the price. And it looks like this will get done tomorrow, hopefully. And yeah, it's a very, very exciting one. At 30 million, even if it is 30 million, it's still a wonderful bit of business.
Yeah, there's probably 25 up front plus bonuses, which I think is a pretty good deal for the quality of player we're getting. So doesn't make too much of a difference to me. And look, we did a scout report today for about Bissouma, and I'm getting super excited about what he's going to bring to the team, the energy, the physicality, and we're going to start bossing teams in the middle, I think, now. And I think he can make a bigger impact than even we think, and we think he can make a big impact. But I've just got a feeling he might even be better than we think.
Oh, without doubt. I mean, my eyes were opened even wider when we did the breakdown of the top midfielders in Europe, and in some of the categories, as you would have watched, he is in the high 90% in quite a few of the categories. So it's phenomenal to see, and I think we've seen him when he plays against us. I thought he's done well, but seeing him regularly, I think he's going to blow us all away.
Definitely rather be with us than against us.
Exactly.
Sure. Next up, update about Giovanni Lo Celso, and the Villarreal CEO has been talking today, and he says Lo Celso is a player who has been happy here and has made us happy, so we would like to continue together, but he is a Tottenham player and it's a very complicated operation as of now. Let me guess what the complication is, Brian.
I don't know.
What could it possibly be?
Well, let me take the chairman? The chairman, possibly?
Potentially. But look, we all know that Lo Celso wants out. Conte doesn't want him in the squad. So that gives probably Villarreal a bit of leverage in the sense that they know that we're desperate to sell him. I'm guessing the complicated situation is we want more money and they don't want to pay it right now, or they want us to lower our price tag. There are reports that we want 30 million euros and they're only prepared to go to about 25 or something like that. Do you expect a deal to be done, or do you think there is a possibility it might break down?
Yeah, I mean, I think it will go through, but I think with Levy, it's normally he wants more money up front, isn't it? Rather than as we were just speaking with performance bonuses, he'd rather the money up front. And the one thing I will say to his credit is this is the one thing that Levy is good at. Like when you look at it and the 18 million he got for Kevin Wimmer, you look at the money we were talking about Dembele earlier with 10 million. With Ryan when he was here, and how this is the one thing that he's always done very, very well. He'll get the good, even with Ericsson with Inter Milan. He is I've even said before, do you know what, if I ever, and please God it never happened, I got divorced from Ilana, that I want his legal team to handle the divorce, because he'd probably make it that Ilana's new husband would probably have to pay me alimony. So yes, this is the one good thing that he's capable of. So I think it will go through, and I think Levy will get best for the club.
Yeah, I agree with that. And what did Sir Alex Ferguson once say? He said dealing with Levy was more painful than his hip replacement.
Yeah,
and I think that's probably what the Villarreal CEO is probably finding out right now.
Doubt.
But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Next update is on Rafinha, and this is coming from a journalist called Tony Juan Marti out in Spain, and he says although Spurs and Chelsea are interested in Rafinha, it is Arsenal who are moving with more intensity at the moment to sign the Brazilian. Obviously we've spoken about Rafinha and Richarlison, which one would prefer, but in terms of Arsenal, their point of view, Like, do you think Rafinha makes more sense for them? And that's maybe why they're going to push the bar a bit more, or
maybe Rafinha might even be looking at it as well as more first-team football chances at Arsenal.
yeah, he's much better than Saka, isn't he?
Yeah, well, that he most definitely is. But what I don't get, I mean, Simeon, you'll know this a lot better. I don't like it when international journalists that have got no affiliation with either club, or if it was a Spanish player, Rafinha, then I'd understand it. But when publications come out from different countries that aren't central to the deal, I tend not to believe them.
Fair enough, but sometimes...
You'll know better than me.
Yeah, I guess in these situations you might be right, but sometimes if it's an Italian player, then like Italian...
That's what I'm saying. If it's an Italian player, Italian journalist, then I kind of... But when it's English
Spanish
clubs,
with
Brazilian player, Spanish reporter, unless he's played in Spain before, then I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but even just because Arsenal are, as he says, moving with more intensity, doesn't mean they're guaranteed to get him or anything like that.
Exactly.
But it just means that to be fair, they're starting from a weaker position, so they have to try and get ahead of the game, don't they? That's the reality right now. Spurs have actually got some strength and pulling power this summer, and hopefully we're going to use it as much as we can. I don't know whether Rafinha is going to be the one we push the boat out on, as much as I believe he's a top quality talent. It's just a weird one because he plays on the right wing. We have Kulusevski and more of that. Obviously, you could argue he's an upgrade on both of those, but we need someone who, I think it's vital that we sign someone who can also play down the middle if we're going to only just sign one forward.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I would lean towards maybe Richarlison. But
I think as well, we've got other irons in the fire, haven't we? There's talk of Richarlison, there's talk of Eriksen, so
Jesus.
So maybe this one is we've registered interest, but it's not as far down the line as.
I feel like it's one that will probably happen if we can't get Richarlison.
There you go.
Then maybe But then again, that's why Arsenal are going hard now, because they know if they play the waiting game, they'll have more competition.
Yep. Exactly.
Makes
I
more
totally
sense.
agree there.
Next up is from the BBC, and they are claiming that Spurs have reportedly cooled their interest in a potential third spell for Gareth Bale, although managing director of football Fabio Paratici is thought to be still monitoring his situation, but there are other possible destinations for the former Southampton man. Look, Gareth Bale never goes away, does he? I don't think he's ever going to go away until he signs on the line for someone else. Do you, in terms of, it says Paratici still monitoring the situation, do you think it's maybe just a case of if he's struggling to find a club near the end of the window and we're struggling to get forward in, maybe it's just it could be a manager convenience near the end?
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm actually thinking, and we keep hearing the rumours that won't go away, the romantic in him and his Cardiff, like Craig Bellamy did. Obviously, Bale is far superior with what he's done in his career, but I've got a real feeling that you could be seeing Bale at Cardiff. Obviously, he's going to have to take a heavily reduced wage, but let's face it, it doesn't matter what club Gareth Bale signs for, he's going to the World Cup if fit. It's not one of those where he needs to be playing Premier League football. He goes if he's fit. So I can honestly see him at Cardiff.
Well, he has to take a massive pay cut, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would do.
Because he's on 600 grand a week.
Exactly, yeah, let's face it, he doesn't need the money.
No, he doesn't. You're probably right about that. But is it one where you think if it is, say, for some reason Richarlison and Rafinha all break down and we are looking for another forward, would you think Bale on a short-term deal might be good for a couple of years, or do you think it's not worth all that money?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I think he's an option there. Like you said, if deals don't go through, he will be one that we'll pick up on. And there's a lot of talk that he just wants a contract till the World Cup, isn't it? And then he's going to retire. So if it's that, then no, I don't think that works for us. But if we can't get the players in and it is a couple of year contract, then yeah, I can see that happening.
You still think he's good enough to make an impact right now? Do you think Conte would like him at Spurs?
I don't think Gareth Bale will be signed as a starter. And it's whether Gareth Bale will accept that. And we know what he can do if given minutes. And
even now,
he's a game changer, isn't he? Let's face it, he is a game changer. What he can do, we still see him doing it for Wales. So it's not one that I want to get over the line unless, like we said, it's further down the line and we need something.
Or maybe, would you like it even if, say, we do sign a Richarlison or something, and then maybe you could even sign him, or even off the back of that as a bit of some extra firepower? Would that be something you'd like?
You could do, but then you've got to think of the wages Bale's going to come on. With us, it's not going to, obviously it's not going to be 600, but it'll be a lot more than Cardiff will be paying. And then you've got to look at that when there's other players that we may be scouting or maybe looking at where that wage could go. So it's a tough one, but I would say for me, with Bale, it's like you said at the beginning, if we can't get our number one or two option, saying that Bale's our third option, let's just say, then it could become a possibility.
I mean, I still love Bale, and I still think he's got so much talent. I really believe that, but it's just one of those where it's going to take a lot of convincing, I think, on Conte's part to bring him in again. Because as much as I think he did very well in his second spell, I think it's an underrated spell he had, especially with some of the goals he scored. You know, I'm hearing Joe Hart's interview saying, you know, that he was asked whether he how he trains and stuff, and he says to say he takes training easy is an understatement. He said, so that makes me think would Conte really want that influence around the dressing room? But then again, with the talent he brings, and we know what he can do, he doesn't have to prove anything to anyone, does he? So maybe that could be enough. But I just feel like at his age, I still think he's got so much to give talent wise, but whether it would just be too much of a headache to have him around, I don't know. But look, I'd like to know people's opinions on that. I still think he's got quality, so not like I'll be upset if we get him in.
Exactly.
It's just at 33, I don't know if he still has it in him to be what Conte needs physically, from what he demands. Next up, we've got an update from Sky Sports on Destiny Udogie, and they say that Tottenham may try and sign left back Destiny Udogie this summer before loaning him out, as they did with Pape Matar at Pape Matar. Perisic and Sessegnon are thought to be Conte's top choices for the left wing back role next season. Lots of clubs are interested in the 19-year-old Udogie. That probably makes more sense, doesn't it? Because we are hearing a lot about left backs, but if we are to sign them and loan him back out, obviously that's positive for me, because it means we're looking to the future. And it means that although we have signed Perisic for now, it's not that we're just got Perisic and we're gonna whoever happens in the future is the future guy's problem. It's
exactly.
We're planning for that. Once Perisic in maybe 2 or 3 years' time is getting on a bit, then maybe Udogie might be ready to step in. So that's a positive for me that we're still looking in that area.
Exactly. I mean, I can't confess to knowing a lot about him, but it's a step in the right direction, like you said. Just making sure that the one we think may be the one to take over the mantle from Perisic and help Sessegnon if Sessegnon's still there, getting him in, sending him back out on loan to Italy and the club that he's used to. It could be a wise move, but I can't confess to knowing a lot about him.
In an ideal world, would you like to do that with Spence?
If another right back came in,
and bring in another one.
I've been with you the whole time when you were doing this whilst I was back in Toronto. With Spence, I'd love another established right winger to come in that either A, he learns off on, or B, goes out on loan back to Forest again, gets his Premiership. Exactly.
Yeah, I kind of feel
like Carl Walker.
Exactly. I kind of feel a bit more comfortable on that side if we had and bring in a more established right wing back now, and then have Doxy or Emerson as backup, and then have Spence out on loan to come in after a year's Premiership experience, rather than relying on Spence right now to be playing every game. I feel more comfortable with that. But look, if they think Spence is ready now, then I guess he's ready now. So
exactly.
Next up is actually an update on Pape Matar, and that is that Pape Matar has been nominated in the top 100 players for Tuttosport's Golden Boy Award for 2022. He is alongside very big names like Gavi from Barcelona, Adeyemi from Salzburg, you've got Gravenbach from Ajax, obviously a long list of names. But the reason I guess we bring up this story for Pape Matar is he is back with Spurs. In this summer in pre-season. He will have a pre-season with Conte. Still very young, I think 19, maybe turning 20 over the summer. I think he's still 19 years of age, so very, very young. Played a lot of games for Metz as a teenager, who obviously was at the African Cup of Nations for Senegal. Would you like to see him as part of the squad for next season, as maybe an option as another midfielder if we are going to play 3 in the middle? Or would you think maybe it's just best to get him another loan deal?
I personally think if Bissouma and Eriksen come in, there's going to be no room for him. There's going to be no room for him with those 5. I don't see him getting above any of them. So a loan deal. But if he does a loan deal, I'd like it to be in England, whether it be to a Championship team or a low Premier League team, wherever, so he can at least get... We've had this problem with Brian Hill, haven't we? Where adapting to the English game has been a bit of an issue. So if Eriksen and Bissouma are there, I see it being another loan deal. But
if we are to change our formation to a 3-5-2, though, there might be a spot as a backup there, wouldn't there?
There could be. But would you rather him as a backup just in training, or out getting his minutes and getting to grips with the English game? That's the thing you got to weigh up. And for me, it would be get another loan deal, but at an English club.
Could be interesting though if he does, because obviously he came he signed for Spurs with a reputation of being a very impressive teenager. And it'd be interesting to see if he does really blow Conte away in pre-season, what he thinks.
That he could do.
Imagine if he, if he says, "Look, I want you here," and then that could really show what talent he has if Conte decides he wants him as a part of the first team.
That without a doubt. I mean, he was signed again as our famous label, One for the Future, under Nuno, and then obviously we know what's happened. So if he ticks all the boxes for Conte, that'd be very exciting as well. So we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Definitely. And last but not least, Spurs have made a signing. And according to Alistair Gold, Spurs have snapped up highly rated under-19 Ireland keeper Josh KEELEY. Can't say I've seen him play too many times. I don't really watch the Ireland under-19s, I have to confess. But I guess maybe one that could be very good in the future. I've heard he's very highly rated, so... I guess that's good news.
Again, I mean, we look at it. Alfie Wyman went out on loan.
Yeah.
Obviously, we got Foster in. A 19-year-old Joe. It's another homegrown. Obviously, it's not going to affect the first team, but at least it's another British British. Canada's British, Irish, no.
Republic Island. Yeah, if he's Republic Island, then
yeah.
No.
So, listen, they must have seen something in him, and if he's highly rated, let's see what he can do.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching another video, Brian. Appreciate you as always. Go subscribe to Tottenham on Tour. Go on. The link will be in the title of the video, so go check it out. And the link in the description as well. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.